Hello, hello, hello. How are you guys doing this evening? Well, it is 1:22 a.m. and I need some lip balm. I'm not really sure how long this, oh my god, I keep on forgetting about this gift card that I have in here. I bought, like, when I was buying the cologne at Saks, like, if you spent so much, you got a gift card. And I have this gift card, I think it's $50. And it's good through the 18th. I need to use that. So yeah, I gotta go. I don't know what to get though. What should I buy? The truth of the nature is $50 won't get you a whole lot at Saks, but it'll get me something. Maybe I'll go into the clearance section, see if they have any like bathing suits, because of course I need another bathing suit. I don't. Oh, you know what? Tanya's birthday's coming up. Maybe I'll get Tanya something in there. Or maybe I'll get a cologne. I don't know, we'll see. But I've got to use that card because I don't want to just lose that money. So anyway, how are you guys doing this evening? I don't know how long this is gonna be. I filmed all of my videos kind of back to back today, and when I was done, my throat kind of hurt a little bit. I felt like I was kind of losing my voice. And so I was like, I just kind of want to relax a little bit around the house tonight and stuff. And Alex ended up going to the Pacer game with a friend of his from work. And so he was like, I won't be home too late, but blah, 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 whatever. And I was like, that is totally fine. I'm gonna grab some dinner, and then I'm going to just like hang out and watch some TV. And so I didn't really know what I wanted to eat. I was actually gonna go to Meijer and just get a bunch of like crap, and I ended up getting an Impossible Burger from Whopper, or Impossible Whopper from Burger King, which it was good. It was very good. But I don't know, I just didn't feel fulfilled when it was done. I just was like, it was okay. I mean, it was really good while I was eating it, but afterwards I was like hungry for something else. Do you ever do that? Like, it's like you don't really know what you're hungry for, you know? And I was I realized I was a little bit more hungry for like hummus and things like that. And then I was gonna watch that documentary on Netflix. I want to get the title right, because I keep on calling the title of this show wrong. Hold on a second. Pull it over here. I keep on getting this documentary. Do I still have this on? When I'm making my videos during the day, I keep my display and brightness down, or the auto lock, so that it just like stays on, you know, and then it drains my battery. The show is called, hold on, let me get into this. I'm so proud of myself. I have all of my like entertainment apps in like one little thing. I'll tell you what they are in just a second. So it is called, oh, I want to watch that Cheer documentary show series. It's called The Confession Killer. The Confession Killer. And it's about Lee, whatever his name is, something. But I didn't feel like, oh, I want to watch that Don't F with the Cats either, or with cats, Don't F with Cats. I heard that was really good too. But instead, okay, so in my little entertainment app, I have the Disney Plus, Prime Video, Netflix, and Hulu. I'm so excited that I have all that. What was the show that I started watching tonight that I wanted to watch with AJ and the Queen? And it's the new RuPaul show. I only got like a half an hour into the show. It's about RuPaul plays a drag queen in like New York City and Manhattan, and she's like real famous or whatever, and she like has raised all this, not raised all this money, but saved all this money to, she's like saved all this money to, what do you call it, open her own like bar, club, drag bar and then she's got this boyfriend, and I'm not going to ruin it by telling you this because this is literally the premise for the show that starts, and she's going to like lease out this club or this bar, and then she gets these credit cards, and her boyfriend's supposed to help her, and then he ends up stealing all of her money, and then there's this like kid, I guess that's AJ, and that's all I know about the show so far. It's okay. I'm not super impressed with it. I have to say, like, I was really excited about it, and there's a bunch of queens from RuPaul's Drag Race in it at the beginning of it and stuff, and I was really, really excited about it, but, like, I'm just not super impressed with it. I thought, like, the acting, I thought, was pretty bad. I mean, this is just my true, honest review. It was funny because I did this BarkBox review today, and, you know, I wasn't super excited about doing this review anyway. I don't know why it keeps on doing this for me when it says memory system unavailable. I think there's something wrong with the electrical system in my car. I'm gonna have to go get it checked out. Memory system unavailable, vehicle not in park. I don't know what that means, but anyway, doing these like dog reviews with Pee-Pee not there is really hard for me. So the other day I did the Dapper Dog box, and then today I did the Bark box. And the reason I did them was I just wanted to get them done, kind of, you know? And I was excited for opening them because I wanted the stuff inside of them for, you know, Boo and Tucker. And it's so cute to see them do them, you know? And, but I opened the box, and, like, and I'm sure it was just a mistake. I'm not, like, mad about it or whatever, but, like, what it advertised, like, in the box is, like, they had, like, this flyer and stuff, was for, like, this game night thing, and then I ended up getting snowmen and all this kind of stuff. I don't know, but anyway, so I either, like, got the box I was supposed to get, but I didn't get, like, the flyer inside was wrong, but it was like the whole flyer. It's like the whole theme of the box, right? So it's like my toys and my treats didn't match, whatever. And then I couldn't figure out this one toy. It was like this snowman head, and I don't know why I couldn't figure it out. It was so obvious. And then in the comment section, so many people commented on it. It was like you put the treats in the eyes and you put the treats in the mouth, and it made this like snowman thing. And I was such an idiot. I don't know why I didn't figure it out. But anyway, there were like a couple people that like commented on the video, and they were like, you just seem off, you don't seem like you're really into this or whatever. And it wasn't totally that. I mean, I was like into doing it once I got in it, you know. It was like good for me to do the video with the dogs, but I got so frustrated with like the Bark box. I just give 100% honest reviews, like just as if I was sitting there opening it and then I was talking to my friend later about it, you know. So, you know, that's me, and I have to say, like, my review, and I won't stop using BarkBox. I think BarkBox is cute. Like, I gave that box a bad review because I didn't get what was advertised in the box, and they were really nice too. I tweeted out my video, and they like responded within like 10 minutes, and they were like, just contact us at customer service and we'll make it right. Like, and I didn't like put anything nasty in my tweet. The title of my video was like BarkBox January 2020 review. I got the wrong box, and they literally tweeted me like 10 minutes later, and they were like, contact customer service and we'll make it right, which I was really impressed with. So I'm gonna do that tomorrow, and I don't even know that I care, you know what I mean? I mean, it's like the stuff that's in there they can still use, so it's not like I feel like I need them to send me another box or whatever unless they really want to. I don't know, I'll talk to them and see what they say. But yeah, like, as far as reviews go, like, I don't know, I'll have to watch a little bit more of that AJ and the Queen, but I mean, everybody's going on and on and on about this show, and I'm like sitting there watching it, and I'm like, this is really kind of like, I mean, the acting's rather poor, and the storyline is not original, and I mean, the acting's really bad. And not necessarily from RuPaul, because, like, I love RuPaul. I mean, I love RuPaul. I've, you know, been a fan of RuPaul for 30 years. And I remember watching RuPaul back in the day when she was on interviews on Geraldo and Sally Jessy Raphael and Joan Rivers shows with, like, one of those she was on, I think it was Geraldo, with Michael Alig, you know, who was from that whole Party Monster thing. But I remember seeing, like, RuPaul in those interviews and stuff. She was, like, you know, original club kid. And I've loved RuPaul ever since then. I love the music. I love I still don't, you know, buy the music and all of that. But I don't know, it's just like, it wasn't what I thought. I don't know, I thought it would be higher quality or something. I was just excited about it. And it's very funny, haha, so it's not like gonna, of course, be the best acting in the entire world, but, I mean, it's no Oscar. But speaking of Oscar-winning performance, the Oscar nominations came out tonight, or today. I think it was today. I haven't seen really any of them. I don't think I've seen any of the movies. And, Tanya and I were talking about the nominations tonight. She went and saw Little Women. She said it was really good, but it said it was really long. And she said, and it was okay. She was like, she was like, it was like a, you know, an epic feature film kind of movie, but she's like, I don't know that I would say it was like the best picture. I think it's interesting that like 3 of the movies that are nominated for Academy Awards, like premiered and are on Netflix. Like A Marriage Story, The Irishman, which Tanya said was fantastic, but she said, I don't think you'll like it. And The Two Popes, which I really want to see that too. And then I can't remember who else is nominated for stuff. Joaquin Phoenix for The Joker, or for Joker, which I really want to see that movie. He'll probably win for that. Maybe Alex and I will watch that one night this week, or this weekend or something. It's supposed to be really good. Tanya said she didn't want to watch it because she heard it was like really, really dark. But I want to see it. And then we got talking about like she was like, I can't remember how she said it, but she was like, has there been like an actor or an actress that you like watched back in the day that you like really thought like deserved an Academy Award? Like you know, like as soon as you watch the movie. And I said the last movie that I felt like, I've said, you know, like in the last, let's say 20 years, you know, like Julia Roberts and Erin Brockovich. I mean, I remember seeing that movie and I was like, I wanted her to win an Academy Award so bad. And then like Hilary Swank and Boys Don't Cry and $1 Million Baby, fantastic. You know, I'm trying to think of who else. Reese Witherspoon in the Johnny Cash movie. I cannot remember what that movie was. Was it just called Cash? Oh no, it was something down the line or something, wasn't it? I'm trying to think of who else has won the last. I just was like, Geraldine Page for Trip to Bountiful when I was growing up. My mom and I were so excited about that. I mean, there's been a lot of movies that I just was like, my mom and I, okay, so if you haven't heard these stories before, my mom and my aunt were raised very, very poor. Which is supposedly the story behind the embezzlement. My mom's dad died when my mom was 4. And my grandma was very, very poor. She got remarried when my mom was like, I think in like 8th or 9th grade. But my mom's stepdad was poor too. So, and my grandfather was poor. He was a bartender here in Indianapolis. So, they just didn't have a lot of money. And my grandma would take my mom and my aunt to the movies. Like, that's what they loved to do. And my mom fell in love with these, like, epic pictures, you know, of, like, the 50s or the 40s, you know, of, like, The King and I was one of my mom's favorites. She loved musicals. Dancing in the Rain, or Singing in the Rain was my mom's favorite musical of life. And, dun, 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 dun. Anyway, my mom loved it. And my aunt and my mom, because they were so poor and they didn't have a lot to do when they were little kids and stuff, they would play act musicals out. That's like what they liked to do. And in fact, the night that my mom passed away, my aunt, like my mom's 2 kind of favorite music of her soul. She loved folk music all her life, but the 2 kinds of music that my mom always felt really moved by were show tunes, which my aunt had playing, like CDs playing of different show tunes in the hospital room. And my mom loved Gregorian chants, which are like the chanting that monks do. My mom used to just put on albums of it, and she like record albums of it, and she loved it, the Gregorian chants. She thought it was extremely peaceful, and she loved the Gregorian chants. So anyway, you know, but my mom and my aunt would tell these stories about how when they were little kids, like they would play act these parts. They would like, you know, they would be in a movie, and, you know, one of them would be, you know, Dinah Shore, I'm trying to think who, you know, Cary Grant. The other one would be, you know, Deborah Carr or something, and, you know, all these famous people. And you know, they would do Singing in the Rain, and they would have the umbrellas and all this kind of stuff. And so my mom loved movies. My aunt did too. My aunt, like, they both were just obsessed with movies. My uncle loved movies too. My uncle, literally, I think the last 15, 20 years of his life, he saw every movie that ever came out. I mean, any movie. Animated movies, whatever. I mean, he saw everything, and he took Caroline's son. I mean, like, that was their thing. They went to movies together always. Like, I remember Caroline saying to me something about, she's like, I feel kind of bad. She's like, that my dad is taking David to these movies that he probably shouldn't be seeing when he's, like, you know, 14 years old and stuff. I'm like, Caroline, it's whatever. We saw those movies. Our parents our parents weren't censors about stuff like that, and we did just fine. You know, I said, Caroline, it's fine. It's whatever, you know. David turned out completely fine. He's just a neat young man, so it's like, whatever, you know. And you know, and my uncle would talk to David about the movies afterwards, and like they would have a conversation about the movies and whatever. But I think to this day, David is he's probably seen more movies than anybody that I know out there. I mean, because my uncle took him to so many movies. But so anyway, we're just a huge movie family, and the Academy Awards are a huge deal. And my mother always had like a little Academy Award party, and you know, my aunt and my uncle would always actually go to an Academy Award party, like a dress-up one, you know. Alex and I, like, I think it was like our second year together, we went to one, like we were invited to one, and it was like you had to wear like a tux, and you got dressed up. And I remember it was really, really, really fun, and it was like hosted by this TV station here, and we went. It was like red carpet, and it was really fun. I prefer to just be at home or with Tanya Jean. Tanya and I were just talking tonight about how we're gonna hopefully watch the Academy Awards together. And they are Sunday, February 9th. They'll start at 8 o'clock, and the red carpet will start at about 6:30, and they'll start at 8, and they will go till well past 11:30. That's why Tanya and I, that one year, because her husband stopped recording it at 11, and so we missed out on the tail end, or whenever he stopped recording it, we missed out on the tail end of all of the great awards. So they always give like Best Actress, Best Actor, or do they give Best Actress earlier in the show? I think they give Best Actress earlier in the show, but like Best Actor, Best Picture, and Best Director are like the last three. So anyway, you know, I grew up with my mom, like, having people over, making chili, she'd always have all these different kinds of cheeses. She'd go buy all these fancy cheeses, you know, like, I mean, it doesn't sound fancy now, but like Havarti cheese, like a block of Havarti cheese, brie, you know, she'd like have brie, and then she'd have like the cheeses that have like raspberries or something, you know, like she'd go and buy some really nice cheeses, you know, not just a block of Colby or something like that. And then she'd have special crackers, and then she'd make some kind of special fruit punch or something, and then you had to come dressed as your favorite movie star, which nobody ever did. But my mom, she'd always wear this, she had like this silver sweater set, and she would just always wear a name tag. Like, this was when, like, later in life, this was probably like, well, I mean, it would have had to have been my 20s plus. She would have a party, and like I would have a couple friends over or whatever. It usually, like, the last, I would say, 15 years of my life, or my mom's life, it was just, well, it would have been less than that, because she was only sober for 13 years before she passed. So the last 12 or 13 years, it would have been just like me and my mom and like whoever I was dating. Maybe one other friend, you know. And so she would have a name tag. She wore this silver sweater vest or sweater set, and it would say Sharon Stone on it. And she'd say, don't you think I look just like Sharon Stone? And I'd say, no, Mom, but she loved Sharon Stone. I don't know why or what her fascination was. Sharon Stone even make records or movies anymore? I love Sharon Stone too. I loved her in Basic Instinct. I thought that movie was fantastic. It's one of my favorite movies of life. Where am I at right now? I know people are probably like, Basic Instinct is one of your favorite movies of life. She was fantastic in that movie. She literally was Catherine Trammell in that movie. But anyway, the soundtrack is fantastic too, to Basic Instinct. But I'll tell you an interesting story. The first time I ever saw that movie, it must have come out when I was still drinking, because I wonder when it came out. Maybe I'll say that, and then it came out after that, but I'm almost positive it came out when I was still drinking, because I saw that. If it's not that, then it's a different movie, but I almost swear that it is Basic Instinct I saw in the movie theater. And I remember my friend, she and I, who I actually found on Facebook after hunting her down for years and years and years, like 4 or 5 years ago I found her. She and I took in all those like small little bottles in her purse of vodka, and then we got Sprites, and we got so tanked watching that movie in the movie theater. I remember we went to this movie theater that was like out in the middle of nowhere here in Indianapolis too. But anyway, I don't even think that movie theater or that mall exists anymore. But so my mom would always have these parties, and then she would like talk the whole time. My mom would be like, oh, la, la, la. I mean, obviously I come from a family of talkers, right? My mom would be like, oh, la, 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 la. And then like when a movie would come on or something like that, you know, when they would like an award, she'd go, shh. I mean, nobody could talk except for my mom. Like that was kind of the rule. Like she dictated who talked and who didn't talk during the Academy Awards. So it was kind of cute. And then we would always cry at the part with the in memoriam, you know, when everybody was gone. And I have a hard time watching him now. A couple years ago, like Alex, because Alex doesn't like award shows. He just isn't super interested in them. He wasn't super interested in pageants for a long time. And then in the last year, he's been watching a lot of pageants, like Miss Universe. He like watched every second of it this year. He started watching, and then he came down, and we finished it together and stuff. But he's not real big on award shows. And so, like, I would watch him I would say, do you care if I go watch him with Tanya? And he's like, no, not at all. I'll sit here and watch some TV shows or whatever. And one year, I had said something to Tanya, like, I think there were like 3 years in a row or 2 years in a row that we did it. And I called her, and I can't remember what had happened. Tanya was going through something like really bad. Like, I think I can't remember, honestly, I just really can't remember, but I think like one of her family members had passed away or something like the week before. And I was like, do you want to get together and do the Academy Awards? And I like called her like the night before, and she was like, babe, I'm just really not feeling it this year. And I was like, okay. And she was like, I'm really sorry, like I know that you don't have a lot of people to watch it with or whatever. And so like that day, Alex was like, do you want me to watch the Academy Awards with you? You know, we can get like some cheese, and you know, like you and your mom used to do. I think there's also something for me about watching it in the condo, like, because that's where my mom and I used to watch it. And I mean, it's been so long since my mom passed away, but still, like, I don't know, I don't like doing it there. So anyway, so I was like, no, I said, we don't have to watch them. And I remember, like, I hadn't seen that many movies that year that were up for the Academy Awards anyway. And so Alex was like, come on, we can watch them. I said, no, I really don't want to watch them this year. Like, I just didn't, you know, like, if it wasn't going to be with my mom and it wasn't going to be with Tanya and I hadn't seen the movies, like, I was just like, whatever, you know. And I remember I got really sad about not watching them. Like, later, I was, like, real sad or upset about them. And there's been kind of a couple years since that I haven't watched them, but I don't feel that way. I don't get sad about it now. Like, I mean, if I didn't watch the Academy Awards this year, to be honest with you, I wouldn't be real upset, because I don't know any of the movies. I haven't seen any of the movies. Now, I plan to see some. I've got 3 weeks to see these movies. The best year ever was... I want to see what year it is. I wonder if it was the year after my mom passed away. I kind of feel like it was. I think I did it as a dedication to her. Who is texting me? Oh my God. It was at the end and I didn't even know it. My phone has literally been like the recovery hotline like the last 24 hours. And I have to say, it's been kind of nice. I've kind of enjoyed it. Hold on one second. Okay. I remember the one movie I saw that year that really stuck out to me was The Impossible. Okay, wait. 2012. So that would have been the year. Oh, my friend's wanting to talk right now. She's needing to talk. I'm like, can you give me some time to vlog? Okay, just a second, see what she says. I think sometimes in early recovery, you know, I remember, like, I feel so thankful, like, when I was in early recovery. And this is why, like, I started talking about this last night. I was thinking about this today when I was uploading the video. I was like, did I even finish talking about it? I don't know. But, you know, when I got sober, it was like, everybody just said, call me whenever. And a lot of people still do that, but I know a lot of people that don't. A lot of people that put kind of like boundaries around it. And I meant to go to Half Price Books today because I wanted to get meditation books, and I keep on forgetting to do that. But, you know, a lot of people put boundaries around it. I thought, is the battery dying? Please tell me the battery isn't dying yet. A lot of people put boundaries around it and be like, don't call me after 10 or whatever. And that is totally fine. I mean, it is totally fine. People have real lives. You know, people have kids. People have to get up for jobs the next day. They can't, you know, just whatever. I would say in my sponsor family, with my sponsor and myself and Tanya and other people, we kind of take calls whenever, you know? And I just asked her, I said, is it like, can you wait a couple minutes, or do you need to talk to a second? And she was like, no, I can wait. But I think, like, you know, for me in early sobriety, there were days when, like, I needed to talk to somebody and have them talk me out of my craziness, if that makes sense, out of my addictive mind. I needed somebody to talk to me and, you know, be like, there's a great scene. There was this movie back in the day that we used to show when I worked in treatment. It was actually a Lifetime movie. And it was with that girl, Kelly. Maybe her name was Kelly, I can't remember. She was in a lot of Lifetime movies. Kelly, I can't remember, but anyway. It was called Her Last Chance. If you can find it anywhere, it's a great, great, great addiction and recovery movie. And it's about this, like, teenage girl, and she ends up, like, well, I don't want to say what happens at the end of it, because it's kind of a cool ending. It's kind of like my story a little bit. But she, there's a scene when she gets sober, if I remember this correctly. I don't know if it's her, if it's her friend, but there's a scene when, maybe I'm thinking of a different movie, but I don't think I am. There's a scene when she's got, like, stupid lip gloss falling on the floor. She's got these pills cut up, okay? And she, like, before she, like, snorts them, she calls her sponsor up, or her friend, and I think it's her, no, it is her, because I can remember it's that girl, that Jenna, whatever her name is, Dorfman or whatever, she's the one that plays her sponsor in the movie, and she calls her up, and she comes over, and although I remember her being kind of rough around the edges in the movie, she's like, flush it, but, like, that's how people were back in the day. Like, I'm so thankful for that. You know, that I would call people up and I'm like, I want to use. And they're like, no, you don't. And I'm like, I want to use. And they're like, okay, do you need me to come over? I can sit with you. And, you know, but it wasn't always just about that. It was also, you know, like, there were times when I would just, it would be 12 o'clock at night. You know, I would go to a meeting all day long. I went to a lot of meetings in early sobriety. You know, I would go to a meeting, and then I would, you know, so I went to a lot of meetings at this club here in Indianapolis, and there were clubs 24 hours a day there. Well, not 24 hours, but literally, like, every 2 or 3 hours there would be a meeting. I was going to 3 meetings a day sometimes, you know? And then after the 8 o'clock, which would end at 9 o'clock, you know, my sponsor at the time or some friends would be like, hey, you want to go get something to eat with us? And I didn't have a lot of money. I didn't have a job, and my dad wasn't giving me any money. He was just buying me groceries, and he was giving me, like, something like 10 bucks a week, like $7 a week to donate, like $1 at a meeting and things like that. I mean, I had, like, literally no money. I don't even remember how much he gave me. I don't remember. But he bought me cigarettes and food and everything. Which is why, I mean, I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for my father. I mean, in more ways than one, but I mean, he's just so fantastic. He was so fantastic, and that's why I always, you know, call him on my sobriety birthday and, you know, say thank you for treatment and my education and my life and everything. But, I can remember going to like Perkins back there where I can remember, and it was embarrassing too, because, you know, I just driven in there not too long ago, you know, and Denny's and Steak and Shake, and people would buy me cheeseburgers, or, you know, the guy that worked at the club, they had like a little, they still do, they have like a little shop there, and you can get like cheeseburgers and grilled cheese sandwiches and stuff like that, and hot dogs, and he knew I didn't have any money, and he would give me free cheeseburgers and stuff, you know, which, like, today, it's so nice to be able to do that for other people, because that was done for me, you know? It's so nice to be able to, like, be able to give back to other people. And one of the things, and this is an easy way for me to do that, one of the things was that, you know, we would go out to eat at 9, not every night, some nights. So on the nights that we didn't, I was home by 9:30, you know, smoke a couple cigarettes outside of the meeting, and then somebody would take me home because I didn't have a car. So I was home by 9:30. Well, for an alcoholic and an addict that's used to staying up all night long, 9:30 is real early to go to bed, right? So I'm sitting at home, got a movie, I'm reading some books, I'm reading some literature from the program, but, you know, by 11, take a shower, put my pajamas on. You know, clean living's nice. I mean, it feels really good at first, but you get bored, you know? We're people that are used to excitement. And I was just as addicted to the excitement as I was to the drugs, you know, and the alcohol. And my mind would start spinning, and my mind would start spinning. And it wasn't so much that every night, you know, and even if we went out to eat, it's like, okay, so we'd get somewhere at 9:30, by 11 I'd be home, right? So it's like still early, because I was used to, I mean, my schedule today is not a whole lot different than my schedule has always been in my life. Like, I've always been somebody that stayed up really late. And, my mom said when I was a little kid, I was like that even, you know? So I got bored. And it wasn't always that you know, it wasn't always that I needed to have somebody talk me down, you know, so to speak. I was going to say from the ledge, but that's not what I mean. It wasn't so much that I needed somebody to talk me down from using. It wasn't always about the using. It was about that I just was bored. I needed somebody to talk to me and entertain me and laugh, and let's just talk and let's share philosophies and let's have a conversation, so that my mind wouldn't spin, you know? Because if it started spinning, I didn't know where it would spin, and my own mind wasn't a real safe place sometimes. And so I would, you know, call people up. And thank God people took the calls, you know, and they would sit there and we would talk about, like, what I talk about in this vlog. We talk about movies. Oh, you should watch this movie, or did you see this TV show, you know, whatever. And, oh, well, I've got these movies. I got them on VCR tape. I'll bring them over to you, or I'll bring them next time I see it, the movie. And people would give me movies to watch and, you know, like books to read. And then we'd talk, and it was nice. And I made some friends. And I didn't have a lot of friends in early sobriety, you know, but I had a lot of people that I could pick up the phone and call. And, you know, and there's quite a few of them that I still see today that were nice enough to pick up the phone back then. You know, and it was hard. It was hard picking up that phone. There was kind of like this saying in recovery that the phone weighs 20 pounds, and it felt like that. You know, there were times that, like, I felt like I was a burden, or I felt like I was bothering somebody to call them, you know? And this was before texting. We didn't, you know, have texting, so you couldn't just text somebody and be like, hey, are you up? You know what I mean? Like, so I don't know. I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful for the fact that those people were there for me, you know? And I'm thankful that people reach out to me today and they're like, hey, can you talk? You know, like, it's nice. It's like, and like my sponsor says, it keeps me sober, you know? Keeps me sober. So, I just said that twice, didn't I? It keeps me sober, so. It keeps me sober, so. But it does, and that's how it all works, you know? I love sobriety. get so many I get so many messages from people asking me, like, they'll say, like, their sibling or parent or spouse or boyfriend or girlfriend is in recovery and, like, early recovery, and, like, how to help them the most, you know? And, like, what are ways to help them? I get that question a lot from people. You know, I think number one, first and foremost, I would say that if you have a close relationship with somebody that is newly sober, which means you were in their life prior to that, it doesn't even, not even necessarily prior, but let's just say, like, you have an addict or an alcoholic in your life, go to Al-Anon. Al-Anon is a 12-step program for friends and family members of alcoholics and addicts. Well, really, alcoholics. Nar-Anon is for friends and family members of addicts, but anybody can go to Al-Anon. And it's for, you know, spouses, parents, boyfriends, girlfriends, and it's a 12-step program for you. It's not to fix them. You're not going to go there and they're going to tell you how to fix your person. They're going to go there and look at you and your behaviors and how you've acted in response to them. You're going to get a sponsor, and you're going to work 12 steps on you and your relationship to that person and how you've behaved. And what you'll realize is it didn't begin and end with this one person in your life. And there's probably a pattern of how, I mean, especially if you've had a long-term relationship with somebody like a mother or, you know, a father. And people ask me all the time, have you gone to Al-Anon? Yeah, a lot. I mean, it's not my program that I go to, but I work a lot of Al-Anon stuff with my sponsor, and I have gone to Al-Anon a lot in the past, and I've spoken at Al-Anon meetings about my own recovery, and, you know, but Al-Anon is a fantastic organization. I'm not a member of Al-Anon, but, you know, they believe in the 3 C's, that I didn't cause it, I can't cure it, and I can't change it. And then they focus on themselves, and it's liberating, because what you realize is I can only do so much with the other person, but I can take care of myself, and I can learn to set limits and boundaries, and it's a really healthy. So that's the number one thing that you can do. The number 2 thing you can do is never drink or drug around that person. Okay, like, I think that's something that we really, really don't talk much about. You know, it's like, if that's the least that you can do, you know, like, when people ask me, they're like, so I can't have a beer around my husband and he's been a month sober. Is that beer more important to you than your husband's sobriety? Like, or your wife's sobriety? Like, if it is, then maybe check your own substance abuse issues at the door. You know, like, maybe think to yourself, if I really need to have this glass of wine and my wife is a month sober, like, maybe that says more about my need to have a glass of wine than it does about my own sobriety, or their sobriety, you know? I don't think it's a lot to ask. And even if they tell you it's okay to have a glass of wine, it's okay to have a beer, just don't do it. I think you're sending out a better message by saying, no, I'm going to support you. In fact, our home is going to be alcohol-free, at least for a year or 2. Listen, my sponsor, my friends, my counselor back when I got early sobriety, all my friends in recovery, they would say, every day that you get stronger in recovery, your addict and your alcoholic is getting stronger too. Every single day that you're getting stronger in your sobriety, it's just getting stronger and stronger and stronger, okay? And there's gonna come a day when you tell yourself, it's okay, you can have a beer. It's okay, you can have a hit off this joint or this blunt or whatever, you know, this one hitter. It's okay, like, maybe you aren't an addict, maybe you're not an alcoholic, but the reality is, okay, that that's the reason why I relapsed so many times. That's the reason why I ended up in treatment programs 5 times, was because that was built inside of me, you know? And I always started making excuses. I can go here, I can be around these people and whatever. And, you know, the other thing is this. You are not responsible for your person's sobriety. They are. They are responsible. Listen, this is very, very valuable. This is something that we say in recovery. I cannot get somebody else sober, and I cannot get them drunk. I can't. If somebody chooses to get sober, they're going to get sober. And if somebody chooses to get drunk, they're going to get drunk. I only have so much power. I'm there for them if they need me. I'm there for them. And it's a program of attraction. So if they want to reach out to me, I'm there for them. There have been a lot of people, you know, people like on the internet, because there's always like, you know, like YouTubers, Twitter people, celebrities that are going through, you know, like recovery issues and whatever, and then people always say, oh, you should reach out to this. Every time they say that to me, I've typically already reached out to that person and said, hey, if you ever need me, I'm here for you, right? But like, it's a program of attraction. I can only do so much, and I have chosen through the years to lead by example and tell my story, and this is who I am, and if you want what I have, you know where to find me, and I will be there for you, and I would never, you know, turn anybody down. I don't care how much I, you know, like, didn't know somebody or didn't like somebody. If they called me about sobriety, I would be there for them, you know, and I think anybody else in sobriety would be too. But I think, like, you know, it's not, if you're with somebody and you think something that you do, like if you drink around somebody, that's going to get them, that's their stuff, you know, and they have a place, it's their responsibility to say, please don't drink around me, or please don't smoke weed around me, or can you keep your medicine somewhere else, or, you know what I mean? Like, that's our responsibility to say to people. I think in early sobriety it's hard because I don't think that we really, I mean, today I don't screw with that stuff. Like, I don't, okay, here's like an example. If you've watched my vlogs for a while, you know this. Like, I believe that the decriminalization of marijuana, okay? I think we are incarcerating people for marijuana possession to a point of ridiculousness, okay? And we are paying large sums of money to incarcerate these people and keep them in jail, which is ridiculous. The rate of recidivism years ago when I worked, so it's got to be higher now, of women returning to the prison system was 80%, okay? And like 90% of that 80% were for failed drug screens for marijuana. So these women are being taken away from their kids. We have now tons of kids in foster care and all of this because of failed drug screens for marijuana. So I believe in the decriminalization of marijuana. If people want to smoke weed, that's their business, okay? I see marijuana very similar to I see alcohol. If, let's say, at the end of the day, you know, you've had a long day, I don't know, whatever. You've had a good day, long day, hard day, whatever. And after dinner, you and your husband, or you alone, or whatever, you and your girlfriend want to sit there and, you know, smoke a joint, and it's like a cocktail to you. I totally understand that, okay? I do also believe that people can be addicted to marijuana. I have known people that chronically smoke pot, okay? From the time they get up, to drive into work, to on their breaks from lunch to work. Every break, they go out and smoke weed. They can't wait to get to their car to smoke weed. They're smoking weed in the evenings. They're smoking weed, sitting on the couch, and they're smoking weed before they go to bed. That's chronically using a substance. It's the same thing as drinking alcohol chronically. It's the same thing as whatever substance that you do chronically. And you can have a problem with that. I believe that. But that being said, I don't like the smell of pot. I don't love it. It doesn't make me feel comfortable. I don't like to be places where people are smoking it openly. And I will remove myself from those places. If I go somewhere like to a concert, or if I go to like a bar or whatever, and people are smoking pot like outside or inside or whatever, it's my responsibility to remove myself from that situation, right? If I go to over somebody's house for like a little house party or a gathering, and somebody like, you know, I don't really hang out with people today people that aren't in recovery where there's a lot of pot smoking going on. But I do have friends of mine that, like, you know, we'll go over to like I can't really think of the last time that it happened, honestly. I mean, it's been probably a year or so where we'll go over somewhere. I mean, I really can't. I mean, yeah, I can't really think of the last time that it happened. But, you know, there's been times since Alex and I have been together where we'll go somewhere and, you know, like, they'll be smoking pot in the garage or something, and I'll be like, I don't want to be here. Like, can we go? Like, if they're going to smoke pot or, you know, whatever. And he's like, yeah, that's cool. You know, like, I just don't like it. It doesn't make me feel comfortable. And that's my place to do that. You know, one of the little tricks that people taught me in early sobriety was to always drive places, which I couldn't do at first because I didn't, you know, couldn't drive, or I didn't have a car, but was then you can leave whenever you want to leave. Well, today with Ubers or Lyfts, whatever one you support, I know a lot of stuff going on about all that kind of stuff, and I don't know a lot about that, but you know, like, and ride shares and calling people and things like that, you know what I mean? You can get out of a situation if you want to. Plus, always take a friend with you or something, a sober friend. And if you're that person, sober person, or their friend or their partner or whatever, and they want to go, if they say to you, like, I need to go, go. And say to them before you go, if you want to be supportive, at any point that you're ready to go, we can go. We can go make an appearance and leave. Like, that was so helpful in early sobriety when I would go to things that, you know, like, whoever I was with, if it was a person that wasn't in sobriety, would say, we just need to make an appearance. If you don't want to stay past that. And there were times that I would go, like, to my cousin Caroline. My cousin Caroline got married like 15 days after my mom got sober and like 6 months after I got sober. My mom and I had such a blast. We danced all night. It was so much fun, right? But I remember my mom and I going to that. We made a pact, and we were like, whenever the other one says we're ready to go, we're ready to go. Like, no questions asked. So there's a lot of things that you can do. I think also educating yourself. I think knowing that addicts and alcoholics are not bad people. They are sick people trying to get well. I truly, truly, truly 100% believe that it is a disease because it says so by the American Medical Association, but it also makes sense. Educate yourself on the disease of addiction. Read about it. If you don't want to believe it, that's completely fine. I don't really care. It doesn't really matter if people believe it's a disease or not. People are still dying from it anyway. So, you know, and I think just make that person be heard, feel heard, and feel supported. That does not mean that you kiss their ass. That does not mean that you don't have a right to be angry. My family and my friends being angry at me because of the choices that I had made before was really important to me. My dad was so angry at everything that I had done, and if my dad hadn't shown his anger at me, like, I mean, you know, by saying, he was never, like, mean about it, but just say, like, I'm pissed. Like, you know, I'm really pissed. Like, you keep on, I'm afraid for you, and I'm pissed. If I hadn't seen that, like, if he hadn't been honest with me about that, I don't think I'd be here today. Like, people did not sugarcoat it and kiss my ass. Like, people were done with me. That didn't mean they didn't support me. That didn't mean that my dad didn't give me a place to live. That didn't mean that my dad didn't help me eat. You know, that meant that, and he put limits around it and said, and by this point, you either need to back in school full-time or you need to have a full-time job. He didn't kiss my ass. My stepmom didn't kiss my ass. My mom, she was off in her own world trying to get sober at that point. My friends, I lost all of them. The few sober friends that I did have, they didn't kiss my ass at all. My friend that I went to elementary, junior high, high school with, college, graduate school, and everything like that, she told me what was that. She told me my life was a mess. She told me I needed to get my shit together, and she told me I'm here for you as long as you're making good choices, but the second that you don't, I'm done. I cannot be part of it anymore. I'm too scared for your life. She told me that flat out. She was the one that picked me up from treatment. She told me that day. She said, I've got your back. If you are making good choices, I have your back. It's gonna stop, hold on. Okay. She said, you know, if you're making good choices, I've got your back. If you don't, I'm done. So, you know, I feel blessed that people told me that stuff and, you know, really held me accountable. Like, I needed that. I really needed that. And you know what? My sobriety has been the most magical gift I've ever been given in my entire life. And I can't speak for other people, okay? But I had a ton of counseling. And I was in an outpatient program, an aftercare program, forever. And I had tried it on my own several times to just stop and put substances down. And I always thought I could do it on my own, I could do it on my own, I could do it on my own. And maybe I could have at some time, you know? But the gift that I was given by entering a 12-step program, I don't really understand people's opposition to it. I really don't. Like, it's baffling to me when people are like, oh, I don't need it, or it's not for me, or whatever. It's literally like, you become part of this. I know people think it's cultish and it's brainwashing. It really isn't. I mean, it's actually one of the only organizations, or you can't even really call it an organization. It's the only support group or kind of thing that I've ever been part of in my life where you can truly believe whatever the hell you want to believe. You can go against it. You can throw chairs. You can scream. You can yell. You can say, fuck you. You can say, I don't believe in this kind of stuff, right? And people will look at you and say, keep coming back. I love you. And I was baffled by that, you know? I was baffled that I couldn't be kicked out. No matter how much I acted up, which I did, that I couldn't be kicked out. And you know, everything that I have in my life today, everything that I have, from my relationship to the relationships with other people, you know, not just my marriage, to my YouTube stuff, to being able to write books, to the careers that I've had in the past, to, you know, just everything that I have in my life, my peace, my calm, and everything is not because of my not using drugs and alcohol. It's because of my sobriety and there's a difference between sobriety and not using. There is a difference to me. To me, there is a difference. And that's just my opinion, okay? To say I'm a sober person is different than saying I don't use. Those are two completely different things to me. And my sobriety is what has afforded me this gift by being in a 12-step program, by, you know, admitting that I am powerless over substances and that my life is unmanageable, by admitting that I have to maybe take a look and that am I the biggest thing in the entire world, or could there possibly be something bigger than me out there? I don't have to say that I'm sure that there is. I can just say I believe that there might be something that could possibly restore me to sanity. And that restoration of sanity could maybe just be a belief that I'm not it when it comes to the grand scheme of things in the world. You know, maybe it's the universe, maybe it's the wind, maybe it is God, maybe it's Buddha, who knows what it is, right? Which then leads me to turning my life over to the idea that there's something bigger than me and what that belief system is, okay? That's humbling. That's called humility. That's humbling yourself to not think, I am the end all when it comes to all, okay? That's like where it talks about in the basic text, God either is or he isn't. It's not saying you have to believe in a God. What it's saying is you have to believe you are not the greatest thing on the face of the earth, that all the answers stem from you and you know everything. That's what it's saying. And then it goes on, you know, and it's about me cleaning up the wreckage of my past and taking a look and doing a searching and fearless moral inventory of my life and looking at all the resentments that I had, all the anger I have in my life, all my conduct in my life, and taking a look at that and looking at what is my part in that, not blaming that on somebody else, not excusing it away, not saying, but yes, but you, but taking a look at myself and then taking a look at the patterns of how I've acted in my life and go, oh my God, this is who I am, you know, and then working on letting that go and getting rid of character defects in my life, which there's 900 self-help books on getting rid of character defects, you know, and then making amends to people when you've harmed them. That's cleaning up the wreckage of your past part of your life. Continuing on a daily basis to take a look at myself and be like, who was I today? Am I happy with who I was? And when I lose sight of that, like I did a year and a half ago, taking a look further past that at maybe 5 years, 10 years in the past, 15 years, and say, who have I been in the last 10 or 15 years? Are there amends I need to make? Is there things that I can do to repair what I've done in the past? Who do I want to be going forward? And then looking to my higher power and saying, who do you want me to be on a daily basis? Who do I want to be on a daily basis? And as gratitude as a result for all of that, giving back to others and practicing what I have learned in everything that I do on a daily basis to show other people and to show myself that I get this. This isn't just some talk that I talk. This is a walk that I walk. That isn't about putting a substance down. That is about a total revamp of my life. And I am so incredibly thankful for that. So when people say to me, I don't believe in a 12-step program, okay, so what you're saying is you don't believe that maybe you could use some restoration of the soul. Okay, I know I could. To this day, I know I could. I've never learned everything I'm going to learn. And I know I might sound a little heated right now, but I'm very passionate about it. And really what it makes me sad about is this, is that like when people say that to me, like, I mean, people say it to me, really not a lot online. It's really more my personal life, you know? Oh, I tried going to those, they'll call them classes. Oh, I tried to go to those classes. And I'm like, oh, really? And they're like, oh, I went to 3 or 4. They didn't work. Well, you kind of have to do the work yourself. It's not about they work, you know, whatever. But I am passionate about it. It saved my life. And not just my not using, but who I am as a person, my soul. It saved my life, you know? It made me able to be compassionate towards people that I can't stand and see the goodness in them. It made me forgive myself and others. It made me look at the patterns of my life and who I didn't want to be and who I did want to be. It gave me hope for myself and others. It unlocked the magic of the world. Like, why would I not? You know? So I don't know. So if you've always said that in the back of your mind, because I can tell you there were many times that I said that before I ever entered a program. I mean, I walked into a 12-step program. This is important. Begrudgingly. I didn't walk in and was like, here I am. I'm so happy to be here. Make me Mr. 12-step. No, I was like, these people don't know me. I don't want to effing be here. I'm not telling them anything. I'm not telling them anything personal because they'll end up using it against me. I'm not telling them anything about me. They don't know me. This program doesn't work. It's stupid. And the only reason I'm going is because everybody else thinks I need to go. And if everybody else thinks I need to go, I'll go just to shut them up. That was why I went. And then I was sitting in meetings and I was like, okay, so this isn't just like 20 days of doing this and I'm done. I mean, I knew that, right? Because I've been going, you know. But I was like, if I'm going to do this, then I'm going to really make something of my life. I remember the meeting that I was sitting in. I remember who was speaking when I thought that to myself, you know? Recovery is a magical, magical, magical life. And a day does not go by for me that I'm not like, oh my God, this is the greatest gift that was ever given to me. And I'm proud of the fact that I'm passionate about it. I should be passionate about it. I think we should be passionate about things that we love and things that we're happy about and things that we're proud of in our lives, you know? So anyway, how about them Oscars? It makes me sad, I think, you know? I have met so many people in my life that say, I don't need those meetings, or I don't need to go to 12-step meetings, and they're dead now. That's my fear. So when I come across as, it sounds like I'm, you know, harping on going to meetings or why I believe in a 12-step program, if you've come to the end of your road and you've lost a lot, or you've OD'd, or you don't have really anywhere else to turn, or you've tried it more than a couple times to put it down on your own and it hasn't worked, what do you have to lose by trying it? And I think that's where I got to. I was kind of like, you know what? I've tried every other way that I thought was going to work, and where's the arrogance in that? You know, and like the saying, like we say, is my best thinking got me sitting in that seat. So if I really think that I can figure this out or control it on my own, maybe I do need to listen to somebody else. And I did, you know? And so I'm here today. And my life is great, but it's not perfect, you know? I don't know. If you're out there and you've said that and you're struggling and you're not happy or, you know, whatever, maybe consider giving it a chance. Maybe consider doing 30 or 90 days of going to meetings and just talking to people and just give it a chance. That's all I would say. Whatever program you want to go to. You know, whatever program. I'm not a salesman. There is no organization. I'm not president. I don't, you know, it is, you believe what you want to believe. I don't care. Or, you know, or, I don't know. And you know, the other thing is, I want to say this, because a lot of people ask me this. If you're just interested in finding out about a 12-step meeting and you've never gone before, you know, you want to see what a NA meeting or a AA meeting or a CA meeting or, you know, an OA, Overeaters Anonymous meeting, or whatever meeting is about, Gamblers Anonymous, what those meetings. There are two different kinds of meetings. There are open meetings and there are closed meetings. Closed meetings are for addicts only and alcoholics only. Open meetings means anybody can come. And they're usually speaker meetings, a lot of times where somebody gets up and tells their story. Wherever you live, put your city in and put open, you know, Narcotics Anonymous meetings or open Alcoholics Anonymous meetings. And it will give you a schedule of when those meetings are. If you just are interested in going and seeing what it's about. And even if you have nobody in your life that is, or maybe you have somebody that, you know, is a mother or a father or whatever, and if you're wanting to go to Al-Anon, just put in your city, you know, like Gainesville, Florida. And I don't know anybody from Gainesville, Florida that's reached out to me. So if you have, and then you incidentally happen to be from Gainesville, Florida, I'm just pulling that name out of thin air. I'm just pulling it out of my butt. But, you know, just put in Gainesville, Florida, Al-Anon meetings. It will pull up all the meetings for you online that are in that area and when they are. So yeah. Okay, I'll get off my soapbox now. But what I wanted to say about the Oscars, going back to that. So thank you for letting me listen to that. You know, I will say this. I love sobriety. I love recovery. I could talk about it in every video, every day, all day long. You know, it makes me so sad. I've lost so many friends. I've known so many people so many beautiful people, that the disease was stronger than they were. And they're gone. You know, I've seen it tear through families where people didn't end up dying, but it still tore apart their families and their kids. I've seen it do such wreckage to homes and families. It wrecked my family, you know? And I don't want that for anybody. I only want sobriety, peace of mind. And you know, and my old sponsor used to say to me, don't wish that for somebody. You don't know what your higher power has for them, or their higher power has for them. Maybe their higher power has for them to be able to use on a regular basis, but you know, with moderation. Maybe they do. I don't know. I just wish for people to have peace of mind, serenity, and, you know, love in their hearts, where they don't feel the need to be muted by a substance, because my whole life was muted by a substance, and I didn't know how to get out from underneath it. So every day that goes by, I am extremely thankful and grateful for the gift that I have been given of sobriety, because it's just an amazing life. Okay, back to the Oscars really quick. I have like my belt buckled really tight, and it is like biting into my waist right now. It's kind of hurting. I'm like, anyway, we'll just leave that right there. It's a little bit comfortable. It's a little bit more comfortable there than moving it. Okay, so 2012, I guess it was. I decided that I wanted to see all of the movies for the Academy Awards. I feel like I just shared this on here not too long ago. It doesn't matter. Anyway, so I did. On like a Thursday and a Friday, I took off. Was it a Thursday and a Friday, or just a Friday? I think it was before that. That Friday. Well, no, because Alex and I went and saw Lincoln and Argo back to back. I think that was what we saw. I think that was that year. I hope it was that year. So if it wasn't, then I split 2 different years, but I'm almost positive it was that year. So we went and saw Lincoln and Argo back to back. I might do this again this year. This was so much fun. This was one of the best years ever. And I wanted to do this one year. I wanted to see all of the movies that were up for Academy Awards. I mean, today you don't even really have to do this because you can download the movies at home and whatever. But I went and saw all the movies. And I remember because I went to Glendale Mall in Indianapolis and I saw The Impossible, which was about the tsunami. Oh my God, that movie was so fantastic. I mean, I knew she wasn't going to win for it. She was up for Best Actress, but I still thought she should have. It was good. So, I went and I saw, like, over 2 days, I saw, like, all of the movies. And, that was the year that, like, Les Mis was out. And, Life of Pi, I remember I saw. Tanya and I went and saw Django Unchained. That was, like, the last movie I saw. She and I went and saw that at, like, the 10:30 show that Friday night or something. So I went and I saw all the movies, and I remember it was so much fun to watch the Academy Awards that year, because I really knew what they were talking about, you know, because I had, like, seen all the movies. And maybe I'll do that again this year. Maybe I'll go see all the movies. Yeah. You know, it's interesting, like, working for myself and stuff. It's like, back in the day when I couldn't do things like, oh, just stop at Tanya's randomly in the afternoon, you know, at the kennel, or, you know, like, go see a movie or whatever, or, like, go out to lunch. It's like, I'd always be like, oh, if I ever, like, didn't have to work 8.5, 9 hours a day, you know, this is what I would go do. And now that I can go do really whatever I want to do whenever I want to do it, I don't really do that stuff. I mean, I went to, you know, eat at Ruth's Cafe the other day by myself, and, but, like, I never go to a movie by myself, you know, and, I'm, like, looking, like, do I need to get gas? Can I make it home without gas? But you know what I mean? Like, I stop at the kennel maybe once a week, something like that. But, you know, like, I always dreamed of, like, having this, like, life where I could just, like, do whatever I wanted to do. And now that I do, and I can, you know, whatever, it's like, I rarely ever do those things, which I think is interesting, so. All right, you guys, listen, that's gonna be my goal, is I'm gonna start doing more stuff that I couldn't do when I worked, you know, full time, because I was constrained to that work schedule. I'm gonna start doing some stuff throughout the day. I need to go tomorrow. Well, tomorrow I've got my home group meeting, and all kind of, we'll see. I'll have a lot of stuff going on tomorrow. Anyway, okay, I'm gonna get off here now. So, I hope you guys are having an amazing Tuesday, unless you have other plans. But like I always say, don't have other plans. Make the most of your day today. Do something fun. Do something fun. Like, fun is underrated. Anyway, and yeah, it's something that you'll be happy that you did, you know, 10 years down the road. Like me taking a whole day to go see, or 2 days to go see all the Oscar movies. That was such a fun, I'm gonna try to do that again this year. Anyway, and if nobody else has told you this today, I love you. Make sure that you look at yourself in the mirror every single day and you say, I love you, you are valuable, you are important. Some days you're pretty handsome, you're pretty. And what did I sing the other day? Hey, good looking. That's from, I mean, the song is old, but it was in the Miss Firecracker contest too. And today is gonna be an amazing day. Good things are gonna come to you. And 2020 is gonna be a great year for you. Most importantly, make sure that you pass it on to somebody else and let them know how much they mean to you. Just let somebody know, anybody randomly to them today, say something nice. It'll cheer them up. It doesn't even have to be, I love you, you're the most fantastic person, you impact my life. It can be literally your barista at Starbucks and just say, thank you, you're always so nice every day, you know? We can be a little bit nicer to each other on a daily basis, I think. Doesn't really take a whole lot, including myself. And I will see you guys tomorrow. I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you. Yeah, I love you.